Hello, hello. How are you? Welcome back to Life Trials by AC with yours truly. How are you guys? I hope everybody's doing well on this lovely Tuesday evening. It is 6:39 p.m. on the East Coast of Florida. And thank you again for joining me. I love you guys. Today's episode will be another assessment of the daily news of the debacles of our political atmosphere here in America. And the specific issue I'm going to be discussing today is the corruption scandal of the COVID-19 Cuomo Coverup. I'm calling it the Cuomo Coverup. So, as everybody knows, there is an extreme corruption scandal at the highest levels of our federal government in the state of New York. New York. A lot of people don't know, but I was born in New York, but raised in Miami. But I don't really say I'm from New York, but whatever. That's not even important. So the cover up of the COVID-19 nursing home deaths were hidden by the governor and his administration. And they covered up about 50% of the actual deaths that occurred in nursing homes. So he had implemented an executive order at the end of March of 2020 to mandate nursing homes to take in COVID-19 positive patients to be mixed in with non-COVID-19 patients, right? So as everybody well knows, that caused the biggest wildfire with respect to the rapid deaths of the elderly in all of the entire United States adult homes, the home care, not home care, I'm sorry, nursery home care, whatever. That situation and what had happened in New York is abhorrent, it's absurd, and it should have never happened. The governor took no medically backed advice from either the CDC or the guidelines that were provided at that time. And I think that had occurred because of the fact that there was the previous incumbent in the office there, and he didn't like him at all and kind of covered up these deaths so Trump wouldn't win. I mean, I think it's just an insane proposition, but that seems to be the reality there. However, there is call for impeaching of the governor, which I think he should have stepped down by now. But apparently, shit, bro. He's blaming the media. He's blaming everybody else except for himself. He's the one that signed that executive order. It doesn't, like, it legit makes no fucking sense that he's now diverting blame to others. But then again, that happens a lot in our society where it's just very easy when you are a person of power to just simply, divert blame to others, especially, those beneath you. And that is what is occurring here. And that will lead me into his actual strategy in this public policy with respects to COVID-19, where he has decided to engage in mafia tactics to cover up the scandal. As everybody well knows, he's been threatening state legislators, people of his own party. That's when you know shit is fucking bad, bro. That if you have a Democrat threatening another Democrat, está en problema. And you have MSNBC talking about it. So now you know it's a problem, right? I'm very thirsty. Oh, yeah. So he threatened the lives and the families of some Democratic state lawmakers, which is like beyond comprehension. So there was one specific legislator, I think his last name is Kim. He's a Democrat and he was threatened by the governor. And it makes no sense. And he's insinuating that that's not factually true about an individual of his own party. So, right there, the scandal está in flames. Like, it's really bad in New York, right? And it's kind of crazy how he now refuses to step down, delegate his emergency powers to the the what is the governor? I forgot what they call the person that's beneath the governor. I feel kind of dumb right now, but I just think that this person is not doing any justice to his cause and is just exacerbating the situation and is just being so narcissistic in the sense that he refuses to take any accountability for any of his actions that occurred during the emergency orders, right? So as everybody well knows, like people have been flocking from New York because not only is it like shut down completely, literally it seems, but the high rise in crime, how there's just so much chaos, a lot of political confusion, the destruction of small businesses. I mean, it's just a joke what's happening in New York, right? But the guy refuses to just simply step down and not even take accountability for it, but just won't even step down. And I think that that is a very scary moment that we are now seeing in our, whether it's at the federal, state, or local level. It's this moral vanity that these elites have when they obtain power, and what he's trying to do in his attempt to consolidate power is really scary. And COVID-19 has been an eye-opener for Americans, whether you're a Democrat, Libertarian, Republican, whatever it is, okay? People's lives are being destroyed. People's businesses that they worked their entire life to establish, it's being crushed by the local and state governments. And this will bring me to my first source of information that I decided to utilize to assess this issue at hand that I'm discussing here today. Is actually from the New York Post, which I am fairly surprised that they have really been rolling the ball with respects to really addressing the public issues regardless of political party. And that's how these mainstream news outlets should be. They should provide information without bias, without any type of conflict or personal endeavors or personal emotions towards the issue itself. Where this was written yesterday from the opinion editorial board, where the title is "Standing Up to Governor Cuomo is an Ethical Duty for Lawmakers." So it's funny because Cuomo threatens a lawmaker's life and literally threatened to destroy his political career if he decided to speak out against the governor. And it's funny because he ended up speaking out against him anyways. He's just not scared of him. And well, his name is actually the guy that I have been speaking about that has been threatened by Governor Cuomo. His name is Ron Kim. He is an assemblyman of Queens, New York. And he mentions that the governor threatened to destroy him personally if the legislature didn't go along with Cuomo's effort to spin his top aide's confession that Cuomo's team intentionally hid from lawmakers and the public the truth about the COVID-19 deaths in long-term care homes. So the conspiracy to hide the truth began as soon as the question from the Post, someone Hogan, revealed the horrific Department of Health order that long-term care homes accepted COVID-19 contagious patients whom hospitals wanted to dump. Yeah, this is really bad. And if the New York Post, which is fairly liberal, is telling the governor of, I don't know why I want to say Florida, because the governor of Florida is so amazing. I love Ron DeSantis. The governor of New York, they're literally trying to oust him out. And it's a bunch of Democrats doing it. So it's not even Republicans. It's not a conservative issue. This is not, Donald Trump or some fucking crazy facade that people are literally trying to project here to cover all this shit up just because it was a Democrat who did it. No more. No fucking more, right? So it's interesting because then you look at I found another article from Politico, and this talks about his Cuomo approval numbers drop in new poll but remain strong. I don't know what they even give a shit about his approval rating when the guy purposely signs an executive order and refuses to take accountability for that. But we're not even going to get into that because it's just a joke. So this guy, whoever this person is, Bill Mahoney from Politico, he wrote up this little cute article yesterday talking about how his job performance, the governor's performance, is at some high there after some they decided to do some survey there of the people of New York to find out how they feel about the governor. I don't know how this guy has any type of ratings with this scandal and suing over his head, right? So the poll found that 50% of voters approve of Cuomo's job performance and 38% disapprove. You see, it's so crazy that if this was a Republican governor, the guy would have been in jail by now. But that is the media bias for you, you know? You have one major news source outlet saying it's an ethical duty for lawmakers to remove this guy. You have another major source here, like Politico, saying, bueno, the guy he has high approval numbers, so that's okay for him to stay in office. Thank God I don't live in New York because, oh my God, it's just garbage. So that then leads me into my next, thought about how this whole pandemic has created this sense of Democrat governors versus Republican governors and how they've performed and how they've done with respects to addressing COVID-19 and the lockdowns and all that bullshit, right? So I decided to use another New York Post source where the headline was, "Every slander flung at Florida governor was true of the governor of Florida," which it's insane on its face, right? How amazing the governor of Florida has been with respects to addressing COVID-19 at the helm. I mean, the guy from the onset knew what he needed to do. He based all his decisions off of medically backed advice. The CDC guidelines protected the vulnerable demographic that this disease impacts, and has allowed for the residents of Florida to make their own decisions about whether they want to wear a mask, whether they want to run their business and how they want to operate their business, whether they will reduce capacity or everybody's mandated to wear a mask. He has allowed for the citizens of Florida to make their own decisions about their own lives. And I think that's so critical because you compare the two states and all you see out here are people with New York license plate, Pennsylvania, California. It's really crazy how all these liberals are flocking to Florida and all they do is throw jabs at Ron DeSantis. To me, that doesn't make any sense because he's done a fantastic job. There are some blunders, whatever the case may be, but this was a disease that came out of nowhere, and he has really done the best that he has been able to in order to keep the economy of the state of Florida afloat. So I love you, Ron DeSantis. If you ever see this one day, I love you, man. You're doing a great job, and you will be reelected. Because you know why? He put the people of Florida first. He did not put his own personal political endeavors, projects that he wants to project on the people of Florida. No, he put his citizens first. He put their lives ahead of his own political agenda. And that's what is a good representation of the people should look like. Not this joke, Cuomo, this bully ass mafia type person that instead of just stepping down, he's blaming everybody else except for himself. It's disgusting. And then on top of that, how at the expense of DeSantis, just because he doesn't have a D after his name, and the fact that he had this, affiliation with the previous president of the United States, Donald Trump, that they did everything possible to make it seem like as if these two governors were switched or something. Like, it's really crazy. It's so psychologically insane what the media has attempted to do here, but it's all fallen short of, their mission, where, they're trying to make out the, Florida man who's trying to protect, his citizens and, small businesses from forever going out of business. And I think that's been so amazing about what he's done. And it's important and critical to the future of this country, because you really look at the long-term consequences of these lockdowns and stuff like that. And it is just surmounting as to how bad it's going to be, especially for our kids that have been out of school for so long. Thank God that I'm not in school right now, because I would have withdrew and I would have told everybody to fuck off, because there would be no way that I would be paying that extensive amount of money at the professional level to be online on Zoom. I don't think so. And after seeing my best friend, her experience, where in one of her law school classes, someone forgot that they, were on the Zoom and they were in the middle of class. They showered, they come out of the shower, and it's just, whoa. But it's just been a joke of the whole facade of this pandemic itself, that it's just, we're all scared. We're all just hiding and running scared. And to really kind of close out this episode, I really found it so impactful. Last night, Tucker Carlson on Fox News had a segment with a woman named Naomi Wolf, who is the complete opposite of him. She's a leftist, extremely liberal. And they had a really long discussion about the long-term effects of COVID-19 restrictions and the inability to freely practice our God-given rights now in this current moment, and how it's being hindered because of COVID-19. And this woman, she is they have complete different political beliefs, but they both are extremely aligned with respects to how bad these violations of the Bill of Rights because of COVID-19, how badly it's happening, and how us as citizens, we're just submissing. We're just being submissive, to these orders, when we should not. We should be fighting back. And she further discussed how the tyrant type of government is quickly ensuing itself within our own government, and they're doing it very quietly and moving our country into a police state, as you can well see. It's insane. The states have crushed businesses, have hindered the ability for people to have the right to work. They've restricted movement. You can get a $15,000 fine in the city of New York if you assemble more than 10 to 15 people in one place. Doing all of this in the name of COVID-19, right? And how crazy and scary, nobody's realizing, but people are realizing, even those on the left, of how this totalitarian authority is rapidly becoming a police state, and it should not be happening. We need to fight back, and our rights are being hindered and trampled on. And I don't know if anybody heard about the recent blunder this president had about the Second Amendment, and how his new attorney general is going to consider banning AR-15 in the magazine. And we're going back to all this craziness again and again. And it's really bizarre in its face, because it's a scary time, and they're hindering on our, rights as United States citizens. The government did not give us our rights, but it's God-given. Not by the government, but it was given to us by a higher authority. And if we don't say something now, things might get really bad. So that is my assessment of that specific public debacle occurring in our political arena as of today because of COVID-19. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I am trying to do the best that I can with respects to how I'm going to set this up, but I'm trying my best. So thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in to Live Trials by AAC with yours truly. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.